Hello, everyone. I am back for another round of American Truck Sim. Doesn't seem like anyone was really all that upset that I was quieter last time overall, which is good. Thank you very much. Because that's going to happen, where I just don't have a whole lot to talk about. That's just the way life works sometimes. And I did have stuff to talk about, I just couldn't, really. Without permission, you can't share some stuff, which is the way the cookie crumbles. But I do have a few things to talk about today. Mostly of some things that I was reminded of today. So today started really early for me. I'm still on vacation this week. It's a week-long vacation for me. Pretty much a staycation overall. This Thursday and Friday, today's Thursday, I had to take my dad for one of his eye surgeries. He got his right eye done today. I think it's a lens replacement he had done. And I had to go pick him up at 6 a.m. And I live about a half an hour, 40 minutes away from him, so I had to get up at 5 to make sure I was ready and over there just before 6 to get him. And then it was like a 10-minute drive over to the doctor, the optometrist, to drop him off. And then the surgery was really fast. It was great. He was all drugged up by the time we left. It was pretty funny. It was good. He was joking around like he does. He's funny. Everyone loves my dad. He just talks to everyone. And for some reason, he has this ability to put everyone at ease, and they just talk to him, which is great. Oh, you might be wondering where we're going as well. I was looking at the map before I started and saw a photograph spot, and then I saw I don't know what you call them, the video spots where it shows you a video of the area. So I figured I might do both of those. Photo trophy, that's what the first one is. So I thought I might do the photo trophy and then launch the video, and then we would go sleep and then figure out what we're going to haul. So I was going to do that first. And so the video, or the trophy, photo trophy is this thing? Is this the photo trophy? It must be this old building, because it's not that. Yeah, we'll just take it like that. I never really even save these. I just want it for the advancement, I guess. And we can turn here. So we got our photo trophy. And now we will go up here for the other. I'm having a hard time seeing around corners. I think that's just the way it is on this corner. Alright, let's get up here and see what do they call these, the video things? I guess we'll find out in a second when I go stop at it, because I can't remember what they're called. Touristy spot thing. No one's coming. And it is literally just right here. Viewpoint. They just call it a viewpoint. Okay. So we're going to watch this little lovely viewpoint of the Dalles. There's some trash. Wow. The Dalles has seen some better days. Like every town in America, a little run down. I blame corporate greed and laziness. Actually, I don't know what to blame. It's probably all of the above. And then some. Hey, there's our truck. Right across the street from the bar. Nice. All right, we are back in. We are headed over to a gas station and a location where we can take a nap, so we can be all rested for our next delivery. Yeah, so I took my dad over to get his right eye done for a lens replacement, I think, and then he has a laser surgery on his right eye as well next week. Actually, I go back over tomorrow afternoon, and I pick him up for his follow-up, which happens tomorrow in the afternoon after 5. So, got to do that tomorrow as well. He gets to wear a lovely plastic eye shield that he can sort of see through. Looks a little funny. I did take a picture of him, and I would post it, but I'm not posting pictures of family and stuff like that. It is pretty funny, though, because they made him wear, a cap to, so germs, dust, whatever, doesn't get in the operating room and stuff like that, and booties over his shoes and feet. They let him keep his shoes on, but they just put booties over his shoes. So, yeah, super easy. They wheeled him out. So it's a 2-story building, this optometrist's, and all the exam rooms are downstairs, and the prep rooms are downstairs and that kind of stuff. So he got prepped downstairs. They did the drops downstairs. He had a Xanax or whatever they gave him, and then something else as well to settle the nerves and all that kind of good stuff to make him more relaxed. Oops, I don't want to turn there. One more up. To make him relaxed, so he is it right here where we can park and sleep? Oh, it's on the other side. Okay, we may as well fill up for gas too. So he's not stressed out and all that kind of good stuff, which, he wasn't terribly stressed, and it went well. So they have one of those chairs that ride up the stairs. It's a 2-level, well, 3, they have a basement, but it's 2-level ground floor and then 1 floor up. And the 1 floor up is where they do all the operations and surgeries and stuff. So they have a seat chairlift that, he had to get in and ride up the stairs. It was pretty funny. I did not get a picture of that, although I was close to getting a picture of that, thinking about it, because that would have been funny. Alright, let's look for but I did get a picture of him as we were waiting upstairs to go back, of him with the cap on and all that stuff, sitting in the chair waiting. So, ooh, that'd be a nice long drive up north. Yeah, we might just take that. Yeah, let's just do that. Where's Bushnell in relation to us? Because if it's a ways away, it's a ways away. Is there anything? Steeler, home stores. Let's see if there's something slightly. Well, that goes to Tacoma. We haven't been to Tacoma. But that doesn't give us much money. Forget it. We're going to take this one anyway. We'll just drive over and get it. It doesn't expire for like 3.5 hours, so we're good. So, yeah, so he got to ride the chair up and got to ride the chair down. I just waited for them to finish. I didn't bother going anywhere. It actually was only when I came downstairs when they took him back. I was only downstairs for like a half an hour before they were done. Pretty quick to do a one eye. And then in about a month, he gets the other eye done. So that is great. It'll make his life better because his right eye has been fuzzy for a while. And then the laser surgery is for something else. I can't remember what it's for, but that happens next Thursday. So I'm taking the day off for that as well. But so it just reminded. So I'll finish this story first before I go to the "it reminded me of" story. So they wheeled him out in a wheelchair to my car. That's all good. And we're talking as we're driving home. And, you know, it didn't give him... He was not steady on his feet. He's in his 80s, early 80s. But he did okay. Walking around and stuff, too. So... But we're driving back to his place. Like, it only takes 5-10 minutes to drive back. And... Ooh. There is a Fred Meyer's store. For those who don't have a Fred Meyer's and you're in the States or back east, it's Kroger, basically. Kroger bought Fred Meyer's. Fred Meyer's is definitely a West Coast thing, especially in Oregon. I am from Oregon. So Fred Meyer's started here in Oregon. And Kroger eventually bought them. So it's sort of a Kroger thing now. But we have lots of Kroger brands in Fred Meyer's. So as we're going, he goes, "Stop at Fred Meyer's." I'm like, "Okay, what do you need picked up?" He goes, "I need batteries for the remote." Like, which remote? The TV remote. Because I can't drive and go get them later if they go out and they've been acting funny. I'm like, okay. Did AAA, AA. And he starts digging through his wallet. I was just going to go in and buy them. And he starts digging through his wallet for cash to give me to go buy the batteries. And he starts taking bills out, and he can't see what they are because his eye is still dilated, and his other eye is barely compensating, and the other's behind plastic. And he like pulls out 100, and he's like, "Is that a 10?" I'm like, "No, that's 100, Dad. No, put that back." And then he pulls out a 10, and I go, "That's a 10. He goes, "Oh, no, that's not what I want." Then he pulls out a 20. He goes, "Yeah, take that." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." I went in, I found the AA batteries. It cost all of $8. The 10 would have been fine. So I came back and gave them to him, and we got back to his independent living facility, and it's only like 8 a.m. at this point, like really early in the morning. So good stuff. Yeah, really early, 8 a.m. So we go in, and there's no one at the front desk, but there was one of the managers. I guess, I don't know if they're called a manager, or maybe they're called a manager. I don't know what they're called. But someone was in the office, and she goes, "Hey, Bill." My dad's name is Bill. And he's like, "Hey," and he still has like the booties on, and he has the plastic over one eye, and she's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "Oh, I just had my eye done and lens replaced." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense why you're like that." He's like, "Yeah, I need to crash, but I'm gonna need food." And she goes, "Okay, you probably shouldn't be walking." And he's like, "No, they don't want me to walk." And he's like, can you guys just bring food up? Because they'll bring food up to you if you're sick and things like that and can't walk. It's completely independent. It's not like one of those co-facilities where if you need care, they'll give it to you and that sort of thing. It's not at all one of those. It's completely independent. But if you are sick and you don't have anyone with you, they will bring up food and stuff, which is great. So she noted it down and told him what the options were for lunch, and she's like, "Okay, we'll bring it up for you. Just leave your bottom door unlocked." Well, at first she's like, "Well, we'll bring it up for you." And I go, "He might be asleep, and he is hard of hearing, and he won't have his hearing aids in." And she goes, "Just leave the bottom door unlocked. Don't lock your bottom lock, and we'll knock, and if you don't answer, we will just come in and we'll leave it on your kitchen table. And he's like, okay, no problem. I'll just leave the bottom unlocked. So that was super nice of them. So they are doing that for him today. So yeah, I unlocked the door for him because I have a key to his place, and brought him in. We got everything put away, got all his stuff put away, and then he just like crashed almost immediately and went to sleep. So, but he had everything he needed. He understood what all the meds were, where they needed to go, how often he had to take the eye drops, the new eye drops he had for dry eye, because I asked him what they were for, and he immediately told me. He knew exactly what was going on. So, which is great. So yeah, so that was my morning. It started really early. I mean, I usually get up like 6, just before 6 anyway some days, especially when I'm working. I'll get up a little early because we try and go to the gym and exercise a bit during the week. But we haven't done that in a few weeks for lots of reasons, because people have been sick and issues with Kristen's, my wife's brother, and my brother, and everything that's happened with Memorial and my mom and all of that good stuff. So we haven't gone in probably, man, it's been more than 2 weeks. It's probably been a month that we haven't gone. We really need to get back into the habit next week. So all that reminded me of some surgeries I've had. And the first surgery I had that I remember, maybe it was the first surgery I ever had. It's when I lived, well, I did have a roommate for a while and then moved out into my own place, but I had this super heavy couch. It was a hide-a-bed couch, and I lived on the second floor, and I don't know how we got it up the stairs the first time, because I was moving from a second floor to a second floor. Somehow we got it up the stairs to the second floor once in the first apartment. It was heavy as all get out, but we got it up there. I don't know how. And my dad had come to help us move out because he had a pickup truck and I didn't. I had the Honda hatchback that I talked about. And so he and I and a few other people are loading everything up, and the last load was going to be the couch. And so we loaded the couch up, and that went fine. And we went to unload the couch, and we're like looking at everything going, how in the world are we getting this back up the stairs to this other place? Because the stairs were different and all that good stuff. So we took it out. There's 3 of us. We're trying to get it up the stairs, and I felt something like weird happen, almost like pop. It wasn't a pop, but something felt kind of funny in, for lack of a better term, the groin area, and uncomfortable. And I'm like, that didn't feel right. I didn't say anything at the time. And so even my dad is like, I don't think we're getting this in there. And I'm like, no, I don't think we are. And the other person who was helping us was like, no, we're not. We're like, why don't we just take it to a, not a Goodwill, but like not a Salvation Army, but like a local charity shop that sells stuff. So we called several and described the couch, and one of them said, if it's as good as you say it is, and it's in good condition, and the fabric's good, and everything works, bring it by and we'll take it. And if it's not, then we'll say we can't take it if we see it. And we're like, okay. So we brought it by, and they're like, no, this is great. We absolutely have some people that we know will want to take it. So go ahead. You know, we'll have people come out and load it off the truck, because we left it in the truck, and they just came by to look. We drove it over, left it in the truck. They came out and looked at it, all that kind of good stuff, and said, yep, thumbs up, we'll take it. So they unloaded it out of the truck, and we drove back. And so for a little while, we didn't have a couch. We eventually bought a futon, and this is when I was engaged to my wife. So we eventually bought a futon and used that for a while, and then eventually bought a couch when we moved to a house. So poor people, first job, all that kind of good stuff, right? So Um, so that caused a hernia to happen, moving that couch up the stairs. Essentially, it caused one of my lower abdominal muscles to push through the fat layer or whatever, and it caused a problem. And it just kept getting worse and worse, and I wasn't sure what it was. And so finally, because people are embarrassed about stuff, I was embarrassed about stuff. We really shouldn't be, but I was. So finally went to the doctor, like 2 years maybe 3 years, 2 years. It was before we had kids, and it was it before we were married? We lived together before we were married, sort of. Her parents didn't know that. My parents didn't know that. I mean, maybe they knew, but we didn't tell them specifically that we were living together. Maybe they knew. I don't know. Neither of our parents would have approved of us living together. So maybe they didn't. I don't know. Who knows? They may have known and just never said anything. But so I had to have surgery. This must have been when we were just married. Yeah, we had just gotten married. And so I had surgery. We lived in a small town. And small community hospital. We go in and, they're joking around, making sure it's the right, which side, marking it all up, all that kind of good stuff, joking, haha, we'll do the right side, got it. It was on my right side as well, which is funny. And I don't know why that's funny. It just made me laugh a little bit. That's why I said it was funny. But so, they're like, count down from 10. All I remember is getting to like 8, and then I was out cold. Remember waking up, and in order to release me, they're like, you have to pee. You have to pass water type of thing. And I just could not pee there. And it's like hours and hours have gone by, and I'm drinking tons of liquid, and I just couldn't. I just, for some reason, couldn't. And they're like, okay, well, they cathetered me once, and they're like, okay, so we think you'll be okay, but if there's a problem, come back in, blah, blah, blah. And if it is really painful, just go straight to the emergency room, because it was a small community hospital. They would just prefer you to go to the emergency room. And so we leave the hospital. My wife has the prescription for pain meds and stuff, and I was stapled shut. And I have Gore-Tex mesh in me, by the way, so I am rainproof inside. They didn't suture the muscles shut. They used Gore-Tex. Apparently you heal faster with the Gore-Tex mesh. There apparently was some sort of lawsuit around the Gore-Tex mesh as well. I read up on it. I never had any of the symptoms or never had any of the reoccurrences that other people had with the Gore-Tex, so I just didn't bother with the lawsuit or whatever it was. Tacking on to that claim just didn't seem like I needed to. So my wife has the prescription. Pull in for a vehicle inspection. Okay, where is it? And I'll pull in. Way stations to the right. Okay. So there is a Fred Meyer's or Albertsons. Albertsons or Safeway. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like one of those two. And she goes in to get the meds, and it's in the summer. It's really hot out. I felt like I was dying in the car because of how hot it was. And I'm sort of honking the horn because it was just so hot, and I was delirious. Oh my God. So she finally comes out and she's like, what is wrong? I'm like, I don't know. It hurts and I'm out of it and I don't feel good. And she's like, okay, well, we got meds, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And so bad. And I remember bits and pieces of it. So it's funny now. Wasn't funny then, and she was really worried, which absolutely, I don't blame her for being so worried. We're just newly married and she's having to deal with me, basically. The first big thing that's happened is, you know, a year into, not even a full year into our marriage, and surgery and healing and all this kind of good stuff. Anyway, so hold on just a second. Big cough, and didn't want to do that in your ear. So get in, get settled, laying there. Hours and hours go by. Hours and hours and hours. I still can't pee. Still can't pee. Yeah. Oh, it's bad. And it starts hurting really bad because of how full my bladder is. I tried so hard. I stood there for like a half an hour is what it felt like. I sat there, I stood there, I just could not. I don't know what the problem was. Just couldn't go for some reason. Don't know. Don't know if it was physical, mental, whatever. But it was really seriously the lower abdomen, and my understanding is a lot of the lower abdomen muscles sort of help that area as well with contracting and helping with that kind of stuff. So that probably is what it was. So I don't know. It must have been like 11 o'clock at night. I was in such pain. We bundled back up, got me into shorts. Somehow, I did. I don't remember how. In a shirt. Got to the ER, and they remembered me. One of the nurses had just started the shift that was there earlier the day before. Was it the day before? I can't remember. But I need to be in the other lane. So, again, got cathetered. That was not pleasant. In the meantime, we hear this girl screaming and screaming and screaming in the bed next to us, and she had taken some pills. This is what we hear them talking, and she was smoking marijuana and dope, you know. Who knows how much she had. It seems like it was laced with something, with how she was going on, because I've had lots of friends who have smoked pot over the years. I mean, hell, I have over the years. Never have I flipped out like that. I've had some friends who have been like so stoned that they've just long, I mean over 30 years ago, right? So gone, but they never freaked out like that. And so that was interesting. So I think that she had either something else, or what she got was laced with something else, and she was not having a good trip at all, which that sucks for her. That I really feel for her. And that's kind of all I remember. They cathetered me, we talked some more, and then got sent home. And then I was finally able to, go on my own after that for some reason. Don't know why. I hope that girl was okay after that. But when we left, she was still screaming. Yeah, I felt really bad for her. Yeah. That just sucks. Bad trip, man. Wow. Anyway, so we go back home. I fall asleep. She falls asleep. Next morning, get up, and I still don't feel good. I'm still on pain medication because it just hurts like a mo-o. Just not pleasant at all. And it's hard to bend over and stand up because abdomen muscles, you use that core for a lot of stuff. And it's really hard to sit up and get out of bed and everything when your abdomen muscles are just ripped apart a little bit. So I was not feeling good. I was on pain medication, so I wasn't fully thinking straight. Then we had an incident. Nothing messy, but we had an incident where I was hungry, and I said I was hungry, and she was like, okay, well, what do you want to eat? And I thought I was being clear in that I just wanted crackers. And she was saying we don't have crackers, and I was saying, well, just go get crackers. Anyway, we had some weird miscommunication. She ended up crying over crackers. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, this car. I'm just going to go like this. Yeah, we had an incident over crackers. Don't know exactly how it happened, but it was over saltine crackers. She cried. I was super upset because she didn't understand what I was trying to say, which was, please just go buy me some crackers because I'm super hungry and I think that's all I can eat. Wow. Oh, I see. Okay, you want me to get over. That's fine. Oh, no. This wants to reroute us. I do not want to reroute. Okay. I do not want to reroute. How bad is this? Oh no, it's not bad at all. Okay. I was worried the exit was blocked off and I wouldn't be able to exit off the ramp. And if that was the case, I was going to try and squeeze around and get off the ramp anyway, because I didn't want to have to drive around a huge distance. So yeah, we had a cracker incident the first year we were married. And it is now funny, but it was not funny then. It was so not funny then. The cracker incident. And that's what we call it. The cracker incident. So yeah. I would say, if you're embarrassed, go get it checked anyway. I should have got it checked a lot sooner, frankly. That probably would have made my recovery better. Everything, had I gotten it checked sooner and just gotten it taken care of sooner. Probably still would have needed surgery, but, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so that was the first surgery that I had. I'm sure I had, like, minor cuts and scrapes and bruises and stuff like that. I don't think I ever had stitches up to that point. I had some pretty bad cuts and stuff, but butterfly bandages that like sucked the wound shut were good enough back then. They never needed the sutures at that point. So, and then the other really bad one was during lockdown. Yep, I tried to cut my finger off in lockdown. On accident, of course. 100% on accident. Yeah. I decided to take up wood carving. Don't do that. And if you do it, make sure you wear gloves and get training. No, I've done like whittling and stuff for a long time since I was a kid. Off and on. I always had some sort of knife and was cutting something, some stick or something. I've chopped wood my entire life. I should have known how I should and shouldn't cut things. But I was drawing the knife into my hand and I shouldn't have been. And it was sharp enough, it just split the wood in two and went straight into my finger. And I was not wearing the gloves I bought because I couldn't, the piece was small and I couldn't get a good enough grip on the piece of wood. And I decided not to tape my fingers up because it was just a quick thing. Yeah, should have taped my fingers up as well. I still do carve occasionally, once in a while. Haven't done it in probably 6 months, but yeah, that was during the pandemic. When everyone was wearing masks still and all that kind of good stuff. Yep, that was exciting and fun. So we went to the emergency room. Well, no, we went to urgent care, not the emergency room. And they took me right back. And she flushed it, and that hurt. And she's like, okay, you know, flushed it at the sink, and she's like, okay, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, that it hurt, but it was fine. She's like, okay, you don't look like you're going to pass out. I'm like, doesn't feel like I am. She's like, okay, sit down. And then she started doing something else, spraying it, and then irrigating it some more with some other stuff. And that started stinging and other stuff. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, okay, lay your head down. You look like you're going to pass out. You're starting to breathe shallow. You need to take, like, more regular deep breaths. I can't remember exactly what she said. Whatever. But, yeah. Apparently, I was almost going to pass out. So, yeah. So they sutured me up. It's my left index finger. And I have a lovely scar there now. Actually, you can't see it very well now, but... So, they did that, and, you know, elevated, keep all this stuff, here's antibiotics, blah, blah, blah. So I take that, and about halfway through taking the antibiotics, it starts swelling up and getting worse. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I should go back to urgent care. I called my doctor, and my doctor's like, we can't see you because we're booked. And because of protocols, yada, 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 you know, blah, blah, blah. I can't even remember what the protocols were. I'm like, okay, geez. So I did one of those nurse advice lines that our insurance has and got it wasn't a doctor, I think it was a nurse practitioner. And so we did it video conferencing over the phone, and, you know, had to hold up the phone to my finger and all that kind of stuff. And she looks at it and she's like, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. And I can't remember what she called it. It was like not the flesh-eating bacteria, but something else. Sepsis? Anyway, the one that's really bad that you could die of if it goes unchecked, type of thing. So she's like, oh yeah, you might need surgery for this, and because that's getting worse, and you can't bend your finger. I'm like, no, I can't bend it at all. And she's like, they should have told you to, like, try and bend your finger every day. I'm like, they did not tell me to do that. She's like, okay, well, let me see who the surgeons are, blah, blah, blah. And so, in the area, so she figured out who they were. She called a whole bunch of them and said, okay, there were like 3 of hand surgeons in the area, which was a bit surprising to me. I thought there would have been more, but there weren't. So it's like, okay, and it was like the appointment was like a week away, and she's like, I think you should be fine. She took a whole bunch of notes down and relayed that to the surgeon's office. And I got a call the next day from the surgeon directly, and she's talking to me, and she goes, how bad is it? Describe it to me over the phone, exactly what it looks like, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And I do, and she's like, can you take pictures of it and send it to me? And here's the phone number to send it to me, blah, blah, blah. Or, no, email address. This is the email address to send it to me. And so I did. And she goes, we need to look at that ASAP, because that is really bad. Like, I would cancel some surgeries to do that type of bad. I'm like, can't be that bad, really? She's like, oh yeah, it is that bad. Come on, car, let me in. There you go. Thank you. So, like, literally, she made an appointment for me the next day to come and see her so she could see it in person. And so she's looking at it. She's drawing all over my finger with a pen. And she was afraid of nerve damage because of how deep it was. And that I may have cut into a tendon because I couldn't move my finger, although I could move it before they sutured it. So if there was tendon damage, she said It probably wasn't a whole lot, but it could have been nicked, especially if it's swollen up like this and I couldn't move anything now, but that could be because of how swollen it is and lots of reasons. So, like, by the end of the week, that was like a Tuesday, like, by the end of the week, they're like, okay, we have a surgery open for you on Tuesday next week, which was like a month. Oh, I don't turn there. Ooh. Was like a month sooner than I could have normally gotten in, I think. So, yeah. So I had hand surgery. And they did have to do some nerve stuff and like reattach some nerves, I think. I don't know how they do that. It's like really delicate work. But yeah, they had to do something with nerves. So that's interesting. But yeah, so I had to do physical therapy for my hand. A whole bunch of stuff. Oh, it would have been better to pull in the other way. Oh well, we're committed now. We'll get this all backed in. Yeah, so the surgery was a little longer than she thought it would take as well because of all the stuff that they had to fix up basically with my finger, sort of. I mean, it wasn't the worst she's seen. She said the worst she saw was like almost completely detached from like an accident or a chainsaw accidents are the worst. Second worst, like chopping wood, chopping into yourself type of thing. It's like, ugh, nasty. So yeah, had to do lots of physical therapy. I was worried that I would not be able to play the guitar or bass anymore. She wasn't sure if I would be able to play guitar or bass anymore either. But that was one of my goals, was to be able to do that. And I can. I worked really hard to be able to play guitar and bass again, but I can do it. It was a struggle for quite a while. All right, there we go. That was a long haul. There we go. We will continue. And I think that might be it. I think we just do one haul today. Yeah, so finger turned out fine after physical therapy. I had a great person doing physical therapy. I saw her twice a week for the first 2 weeks. And then I saw her once a week for like 4 or 5 weeks. I saw her quite a bit and seriously did all the exercises and really, really went at it. I still have issues every once in a while where it feels tight and I'll work at stretching it and rubbing it out more. But it's way better. So I still have use of my finger even after I tried to chop it off. So yeah, those are surgery stories. And we got there because I helped my dad today and drove him to his eye surgery. So, all right. Thanks for riding along and listening to me ramble on. I appreciate it. We get a look at the cow. Oh, no, those are not cows. Those are buffalo. Bison, probably, is what they are, not buffalo. But, all right. Well, thanks for hanging out. So, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Being kind to yourself is one of the hardest things you can do. So, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.